Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the brand new Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead magazine Partwork from Hachette. I had no idea this was even coming out. I just happened to be in my local TGJ Jones or whatever it is now, and saw this on the shelf and figured I would pick it up. I'll admit I've already gone ahead and subscribed to this Partwork. I've been subscribing and getting the Warhammer Combat Patrol series, and while I don't play any of the Warhammers, I do enjoy painting the miniatures, and I think the Partworks, for the price you are paying, end up being quite a good collection. Typically these issues are $9.99 a piece, and you usually get either a figure or some paints or something to proceed with the assembly of your magazines. The magazines also have assembly painting guides along with lore and everything else, so I think for the £10 you're paying a week, it's actually a pretty decent collection, and often actually works out a little cheaper than buying these as figurines in the Games Workshop Warhammer stores. Obviously the key difference is with the Partworks you get a whole load of different figures, whereas if you're only into an army, one particular army or something, you are better probably off buying the individual sets. But nonetheless, I thought, since I'd picked up the first issue quite randomly, that it might be interesting to take a look at this on camera and see what is on offer. So here we have the first issue in a polythene bag. Issue 1 is $2.99. As I said, normally they're going to be $9.99, and if you subscribe you can pay an extra £2.50 a week to sign up for premium miniatures, so you get an added premium. And so far, if it's anything like the Combat Patrol, paying the extra is definitely worth it for the premiums you get. But anyway, issue 1 comes with a Lord Vertiant, a Gracier and Warlock Engineer with 6 dice, so we get yet more dice, yay. On the back we get a preview of the series itself, but let's get this opened and take a look. So removing it from the cellophane bag, we get issue 1 stuck to the back of one of these cardboard backs, and here we have the back, which gives us a look at what we can expect. So Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead. Take the battles of the war-torn mortal realms and command mighty armies filled with awe-inspiring heroes, terrifying monsters, and battle-hardened troops with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead. Anyway, so in the magazines we can expect to have a section on reading, so we can discover the characters, stories, war-torn battlefields, etc. Section on collecting, so personalize your growing collection with name and background options. Build, assembly, instructions section, paint section, looking at painting our miniatures, and play, which will learn to play with in-depth tutorials, double-sided gaming mats, war scrolls, and highly detailed terrain. The Partwork will collect 12 Spearhead armies, and I don't know how much showing up on camera here, but this is the armies we get. I don't even know the names of the armies, so I'm not going to try here. But it looks like we get a nice real variation of different armies. With Combat Patrol, I think it was like 8 armies in total we've gotten. or will be getting. So this gives a real different variation, which is what I like. As I said, I don't play. I just like building and painting them. So having the variation of armies to paint is a welcome addition. Also looks like we will get some terrain in the background, which is quite interesting. We'll get 31 paints throughout the collection, 5 brushes, battle maps, and cards. Issue 2 is going to be at a reduced price of $6.99. Usual price from issue 3 is $9.99. And we will get Rat Ogres, the Verdamon, and How to Paint Miniatures. So it looks like you can get 3 ogres. Ogres. In the collection, there is a QR code if you want to subscribe to the magazine. I tried the QR code, it failed, it didn't work for me. I just had to actually type in Spearhead.com and go through Hachette's website. There was no issue signing up for the subscription if you're interested. So this polythene bag is glued to the back of our cardboard. Oh. Jeez. So that's the back of the cardboard for those who are interested, but that will go in the bin. And here is our first issue, so let's take a look. That can go to one side. So we get 6 dice. Get our stands. And we get our models. Now these look like they're the push fit ones, which are nice enough, so we might even be able to assemble these to see how they look. Initially, we get our magazine. With all of our Fallout pieces. So the magazine will, much like the Combat Patrol series, looks like it will tear apart and go into their own individual sections within the magazine's binders. Fallout wise, we get a newsagent subscription leaflet, which gives us a preview of upcoming issues. We get a subscriber leaflet. So buy issue 2 and receive issue 3 for free, plus fantastic free gifts. Delivered to your door, 3 issue free with 5 liberators. We get a free modelling kit. The modelling kit being just a pair of snippers and a sander. I have plenty of those things lying around, but they're always handy to get. So if you subscribe to the magazine via the website, again, there is a QR code if you want that. You'll get a free 3rd issue. You'll get paintbrushes, which will come with the 4th delivery, modelling kit, which comes with the 1st delivery, a binder, which comes with the 3rd delivery, a mug with the 6th delivery, and a free figure with our 7th delivery. So the free stuff you get, not bad. It's standard fare for these Partworks. You know, a couple of bits to help with your modelling. The first binder free. The rest of the binders you'll end up having to pay for, no doubt. And a mug. Yeah, a mug's a mug. Yeah, as a subscriber, I will automatically receive any binders they become available at a cost of $10.99 each. Bloody hell. And by subscribing, you'll also automatically sign up to any special magazines. Based on the Combat Patrol magazine, I've had 2, and with 3/4 of the way through, so you're probably getting one maybe every 6 months or something like that, I guess. And as I said, you can pay extra for premium and you get some bigger model kits which do look really impressive. So I have signed up for the premium edition because I do like the look of those models from a painting perspective. You also get a fold out mat, and I'm knocking all my dinos off the shelf. So you get a terrain mat to play on, which is double-sided, which is nice. Let's put my trike back there. We get a free poster which gives us obviously another look at the magazine, so another summary on our free gifts. Here we get a breakdown of what we can expect. So we will get Spearhead, Battle in the Mortal Realms, take battlefields of the war-torn mortal realms with Spearhead, build and paint a collection of stunning miniatures and learn to lead them to victory in thrilling games of Spearhead. Take command of mighty armies filled with awe-inspiring heroes, terrifying monsters and battle-hardened troops. Collect 12 armies across 90 issues, so this will be running for 90 weeks, give or take. It'll be a little over 90 weeks because the first issue is on sale for 2 weeks and then it's weekly thereafter, so it's, you know. So you're looking at just under 2 years for the collection, which isn't too bad, I suppose. Give a breakdown of what we can expect. We get a look at our armies. So I don't know how well this is all showing up on camera, but we can expect Stormcast Eternals, Magokin of Nurgle, Idonath, Skavens, Soulblight Gravelords. I'm going to apologise right here if I'm butchering any of these names. I don't know the first thing about Age of Sigmar, except that it's obviously part of the Warhammer franchise. I don't know any of these species or races or anything like that. So, yeah, I do apologise. You get Seraphins, Cities of Sigmar, Slaves of Darkness, Sylvaneth, Osharak, Bone Reapers, sorry, Gloomspike Gits, and Lumineth Realm Lords. So you get a varying army. I think one of the, my opinion of this so far is based off of the Combat Patrol one I've been subscribing to. It's obviously fairly similar in its design. One thing I do like is it's built for newcomers. You get a varying range of armies. There's our poster. It doesn't really show up on camera, given the size of it. But yeah, as I was saying, it's nice for newcomers. I think if you're deeply into Warhammer already, you might get something out of this, but I don't think you would get as much as brand new newcomers to the franchise, as this is definitely built up with a lot of history and lore. You can learn to play the game, you get some miniatures, you get some brilliant tutorials in them, and I'm expecting the same from this magazine. So we will see. Hopefully this will be a decent series. So we can expect a contents page. We get a reading section, which will obviously break down the lore of the franchise and the various history of our races. It looks like it's going to be fairly similar to the Combat Patrol magazine in that each section is going to be marked, and then it will also be broken down into various sections. So reading chapter A and then eventually move on to, yeah, here's a good example, collecting chapter A, collecting A, Collect B. So yeah, it'd be broken down into various chapters, but so everything's nicely split out. And they definitely do make some nice collections to have. So we can get our reading, which will provide the history. You then get a section on collecting, so this will give a summary on various factions and species and everything else from the games. We can expect a section on building. For legal reasons, these no longer supply glue. I know they've done a number of these Partwork magazines, and I think in the past they have sent out glue as one of the gifts or attachments or whatever, but there are obviously legal restrictions now which prohibit them from doing that sort of thing. But standard Citadel glue will do, or modelling glue, anything from your local hobby shop will be fine. So we get a summary on how to build, a summary of the basics, cleaning up and taking care of our models, an assembly guide for our 2 figures, an age of battle, so play. So it gives us the basics on playing, and this will no doubt give some various scenarios and various storylines that you can follow to play along with. So this is looking to be very similar to the Combat Patrol as I expected. The Combat Patrol I definitely think is worth the money you're paying for it. If you're thinking of getting into Warhammer, whether it be Age of Sigmar or the Combat Patrol, which is now nearing its end, but no doubt they'll probably do another 40k series in the next year or so. I think they're a good value for money. I think you get some really nice figures along with a decently crafted magazine with some nice history in it. It's a nice way of getting a set of figures and some paints and everything else relatively cheaply on a monthly basis. So this is obviously going to be weekly. Hachette send out the Partworks every 4 weeks, so a typical month. Once you're right into the subscription, obviously at the beginning you'll get the odd issue here and there as it starts out, but typically you can expect 4 issues in a month to be delivered to you, which will come with the magazines and whatever the item included with that week's issue is, whether it be a model kit or some paints. And assuming you don't go for the premium subscription, you're going to be paying 40 quid a month for a number of figures and everything else, which overall I think is a reasonable price point. Certainly it works out along, because somewhere along the lines, because some weeks you won't get as many figures because you've got some paints in an issue, or you get a bigger model split across 2 issues rather than a bunch of smaller figures in 1 issue. But yeah, I think it works out as a really decent price point, especially if you're new to it and you're trying to get into it. As I said, I don't know if maybe you're a little more in depth with Warhammer, whether you'll find this as interesting. I think the lore will specifically apply more to those who aren't familiar with the franchise, but who's to say that you won't learn something new or have a nice resource at hand. Obviously if you're deep into the game, then chances are you have only 1 army or 2 armies you play rather than multiple, in which case you might find a lot of these issues don't necessarily appeal or apply to you. But again, as I said, these definitely are great additions for those who are not familiar with the franchise. But there we have it. There's my thoughts on the first issue of Spearhead. As I said, I've already subscribed to this, and I have definitely subscribed to the premium one. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. I've been enjoying the combat patrol, even if I'm several months behind on all of my building and painting. I still enjoy flicking through the magazines each month when they get delivered. But yeah, there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe and remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.